Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading for the week of March 23rd. You have this dignified card. It says strength. And this Pallas Athena card, it says think on it. It's a good week to think for sure. We ended the retrograde on the 20th. You might be watching this before the end of the retrograde, but still, this is for the week of the 23rd. So, if you're watching this that week, we ended the retrograde. It's still a good time to process, think about where you're headed in life, process where you're going as well, and what you want to accomplish. You have the Queen of Wands, the Nine of Wands, and the Seven of Wands. So a lot of Wands energy that you're starting the reading off with. Queen of Wands wants you to be bold, assertive, confident, wants you to really go in a direction that you want to go in, and wants you to do it by being brave. And, she also is kind of my card of learning as you go. She is going on a journey, and she's just following the sun. She has the sunflower right there, and she has no clue where she is going, but she's going to do it anyway because she feels like she should. And so I feel a lot of you are kind of about to start some sort of journey or new direction in your life. Looks pretty good to me here, Scorpio, just based off of everything that's coming up here. The other thing that she does is she doesn't care what anyone thinks. She has this black cat right here. During the times of tarot, black cats were considered unlucky, but she has the black cat because she doesn't care what anyone thinks. She just likes the black cat, right? And I feel like that would be a good attitude for you moving forward for, years to come, basically, Scorpio. I think especially you, out of all the water signs, I think you are going to experience people having something to say about what you're doing in life. And so that is kind of I don't know that I would call it a challenge. It's more of a minor annoyance that you might have to deal with. But again, your job is to just not worry about it and to do it anyway because you're an adult and you can do whatever you want, right? And also, you are being guided towards something. And so, again, I believe that we are all here on Earth right now with Pluto and Aquarius to inspire other people. And so, by you just living your life, doing what you think you should be doing, eventually those people will be on your side, right? Eventually, they will see that you are right. And again, that's the most spiritual thing we can do right now is inspire others by, facing challenges or going our own way, doing our own thing in life. And that's what I would do here. You have the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is the Wound Warrior, of course, but he is not giving up, and so I definitely wouldn't give up on something. I've said this to you before, Scorpio. It's something needs a little spice or something. Something needs some seasoning in that you're working on here, right? It's I think what you've been serving is just raw chicken, and it needs some hot sauce or something on it, right? So, and I'm talking about in work or business or whatever. I don't know. This always pops into my head for you, Scorpio. Not necessarily that, but it's I think you could be really, doing a lot to create some great things, in work and business, and adding a twist to what you're doing, or adding some spice, making it stand out on purpose is what you need to do. And it's yeah, you're gonna have critics. I think maybe that's part of the challenge here, Scorpio, is the fact that people are gonna have something to say about it. People are gonna say oh, you shouldn't be putting hot sauce on your chicken and all this other stuff. Your job is to ignore it, right? And I feel if you do that, you're going to stand out. It's all your readings have really been about making sure that you stand out. I mean, we're in a time where, in general, everybody needs to stand out. We have all this energy, Pluto and Aquarius especially wants us to shine bright for what makes us special or for our unique talents, gifts, skills, and abilities, or whatever you want to call it. Now, the Nine of Wands is my card of experimentation. If you've been watching me for a while, I'm a big fan of experimenting. So, this is my card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So you might have to do a lot of experimenting, especially in work or business or career or whatever you do, but it will be worth it. You have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. It says when you know what that something is going to be successful. When you believe it deep down inside, that's when you will truly be successful. So sometimes I feel this is a little bit of a brainwashing card where we have to kind of brainwash ourselves into believing that there's no other way than for it to be successful. It's also a card of kind of drawing a line in the sand. I'm pretty sure I've said that to you before, Scorpio. It seems to me like it's an important time for you to have those boundaries. Both Seven of Wands and Nine of Wands are boundaries. Both cards kind of represent perseverance. Nine of Wands is the card of perseverance. Seven of Wands is the card of persistence. You have to be persistent to be perseverant, right? So, they're very similar. And I do feel a little bit of that, like, don't give up on your dream. Don't give up on something that you're working towards, especially if people have been criticizing it. I think you need to, kind of keep marching forward here, Scorpio. With the Queen of Wands, yes, you have the Emperor. Yeah, you need to be the Emperor. You need to be bold, assertive, confident, ready for action. He is sitting on his throne. He has his armor on underneath his cloak. It kind of says that he's ready to go at a moment's notice. So whenever an opportunity presents itself, he takes action, right? And that's what I would be doing with the Emperor. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, time to let go of the past for sure. This retrograde, I don't know really what it is about this retrograde. Like, all retrogrades ask us to examine the past, revisit the past, process it, whatever. But this one has just been a little bit strong, actually a lot of bit stronger than other ones that I've read for, right? It's like this one is like really saying that we really, really have to let go of something that is limiting us or holding us back or preventing us from moving forward. Again, the excuse that I give the astrology is the fact that we had Neptune and Saturn and Pisces for a long time. It's pretty interesting that like the first retrograde we're having after that is in Pisces. So it's almost like the universe is saying like, hey, do you remember all that crap you went through? All the stuff you want to let go of and leave behind in the past and never revisit again? And so it's almost like the universe is saying, remember? And now we have to bury that stuff in the past. So we have to start moving different. The Four of Pentacles, he's holding on to a limiting situation. He's holding on to the Four of Pentacles he has. But he could be preventing himself from having the Ten of Pentacles by holding on to this Four of Pentacles. This is one of those situations where it's like he has Four of Pentacles. So he's saying, why would I let go of this when I've had nothing and I have this? Why would I try to go get something better? He thinks he's losing something. But really, he has everything to gain. And that's what I want to say to you, Scorpio. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Hangman, which you have twice here going this way. You're going to have 6 billion new perspectives a day between April and 2033 with Uranus and Gemini. Uranus and Gemini, I've been saying to everyone that the Hangman, I think we're going to see a lot over the next 7-ish years because of Uranus and Gemini. Uranus and Gemini just wants us to look at things upside down. It wants us to say, like, what's the opposite of whatever I'm trying to accomplish right now? What is the, what's an opposite way that I could approach this? What's a unique way or a different way or a spontaneous way that I could accomplish this goal, right? Or, get this date or do this thing that I'm trying to do. And so, again, I think in some ways it's a little bit confusing because I think when we get to April and when Uranus enters into Gemini, it could be like a little bit overwhelming because it's a lot of information coming in. We just have to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. And that's what I would do here, Scorpio. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Be Still card. It says, cultivate a space of stillness and silence. Yes. You have this be present. Same thing, basically. It says find clarity in the moment. I've been saying to everyone since the 2026 readings that I think this year in particular, everybody should have something like a habit, a process, a part of their routine where they just kind of can just be still, where they can chill out. I think it's a good year to say like, every single morning I'm going to, gratitude journal, or I'm going to take 5 minutes to meditate or whatever, right? It doesn't have to be anything crazy. But again, it's a very active year, especially when we get to April. So we need something to plug into. We need to recharge our batteries, right? And I would make sure you come up with something. You have the Temperance card, the Four of Swords, and the Five of Cups. I feel like you have been very patient. I feel like sighing here, Scorpio. I feel like just being like, oh my God. That's what this row is making me feel like. Not in a bad way, because I think this is where you have been, just like waiting and patient and trying to fix things, trying to, he's trying to turn water into wine. He's trying to alchemize his situation, and he's been trying for a long time. This right here is the path to glory with this glowing crown. So the Temperance card kind of wants us to just stop doing this and wants us to not be perfect and wants us to get off on this path to claim our crown. So I feel like the time is now. The good news about the reading is probably the Hangman twice. If you've been trying to do something and you have been very patient, the Hangman could say that you're finally getting answers on like what to do or what steps to take next. You have the Four Swords. Four Swords is resting, relaxing, recovering, and healing, of course. So a lot of you could be resting, relaxing, recovering, and healing. This is my Mercury retrograde card. Pretty much everyone has had it for about a month now. And so it just comes up every single reading. He is hoping and praying for a blessing. There's a person right here who's blessing another person. And so you've probably been hoping and praying for a blessing. I feel that you are going to create the blessing. It's like you fixed signs. There's a big difference between you fixed signs and everybody else. It's like, and this might sound like it sucks, but it really doesn't. I think you fixed signs are being asked to create the blessing. It's like, yeah, you're going to have to take action to make it happen. It's like the other signs, it does kind of seem like they are just getting a blessing, right? So yeah, I'm not going to lie. It's like, it seems like it's maybe a little bit more work for you to create the blessing, but at the same time, the good news is that I think you're going to value it more because you had to create it, But it's like the Four Swords, he's hoping and praying, but there's a new perspective on how you can get it, so you have to take action towards your blessings. You have the Five of Cups. Five of Cups can be like regret and sadness. I always say fives have very easy solutions in the tarot. All he has to do is be grateful for these two cups. Then he gets this bridge and this castle over here. So I feel it's definitely time for you to be grateful for what you have and practice gratitude. Also, don't be afraid of letting things go with the Four of Pentacles. He's holding on to these like three cups right here. Those cups spilt over, they have wine in them. And the story of the card is that he's lost his taste for wine. So he's sad because he has lost his taste for something that once brought him joy. But there's something else over here behind him that is new, that will bring him joy and blessings into his life. So he just has to turn around. With the Temperance card, you have the Ace of Pentacles. Yes, again, it's like, I feel like this reading is saying the answers you need are here. Or it's like you're getting the answer on what your next steps need to be, finally. And so you've probably been waiting a long time. I feel like you've been trying to change the energy or trying to change your energy to figure out like what it is that you need to do. And the Ace of Pentacles can be a big opportunity that has a lot of potential. So you could be getting an answer. The Emperor, he is also ready for an opportunity. So he is like ready to go at a moment's notice. When an opportunity presents itself, he takes it. He doesn't like think about it for too long. He knows that opportunities don't last forever. So if you're getting a big opportunity in any area of your life, I would just take it and see how it goes. Yes, with the Four Swords, you have the Six of Wands. You will be victorious, right? Six of Wands is having a victory, having a big win. This person here on the horse, he's been through a long battle. He's been through war, and now he's coming home and he's being celebrated. So, I think that perfectly describes what Scorpio has been through. I think you've been through a lot of challenges over the years, and it's like now you're coming home. Now you're being celebrated, finally. And so I feel like you're finally getting the fruits of your labor here, kind of, or like the results from all the work that you've been doing. And it feels good. So I like it. One thing I will say is that I think Uranus and Gemini can create a lot of jealousy. And this person back here, I'll show you, is meant to look jealous of this person's success. So again, the reading, there's definitely a theme of just needing to ignore other people, needing to ignore what people are saying about what you're doing, like all that, right? With the Five of Cups, you have the Four Wands. Four Wands can be marriage, of course. We do have a little bit of love here, if you want it. You have the King of Cups, Emperor. So Four Wands can be marriage in the future. It doesn't say you have to marry a person right now. Four Wands is really the card of freedom. You have to finish something. It is a card of finishing something so that you can go celebrate with these people on the other side. So a lot of you could be finishing up a long journey, or you could be finishing up like a lot of work that you've done on something and finally getting a result, which is pretty good. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this travel card. It says you're attracting positive movement and travel that will bring your desires to fruition. You have the success and triumph. It says nothing will be able to get in your way. You'll surely come out on top. So there you go, Scorpio. You are going to be victorious with that Six of Wands. So don't stop. I think the boat is important here on the travel card. We have the boat as well. I'll show you in a minute at the back of the King of Cups there. So this is Uranus and Gemini. Again, for whatever reason, maybe you are being affected by it more than everybody else, probably because Uranus has been in Taurus, your opposite sign, for a long time. So it's like you're used to that energy and now it's changing. And so with Uranus and Gemini, we just have to go on adventures, right? The opposite of Gemini is Sagittarius. We have to, we can't just work with Gemini or we'll go nuts during Uranus and Gemini. We have to take the information and then explore it. We have to adventure with it. And we also have to be more spontaneous. We have to be willing to move quickly in new directions, and that's where the success will come from. You have the Hangman, the Death card, and the Queen of Pentacles. Again, Hangman is about seeing things from a new perspective. Again, there's a billion new perspectives coming into the world in April, so sure, I think everybody is going to be dealing with this. The Hangman has finally found an answer, though. He put himself on pause. He's hanging from the tree of knowledge and wisdom, but his head is glowing. He has finally gained enlightenment. He finally sees what he needs to do. So, I think a lot of you are finally seeing like the steps you have to take or the direction you need to move in. Like I said, on a very simple level, I think this reading is saying you're finally getting an answer on what steps you need to take next. You have the Death card. The Death card can be a transformation or a major change coming in for you. And it's also you showing up here. Whenever you show up as yourself, puts you in a position of power and strength. Scorpio allows you to get what you want from the reading. We've had a lot of planets changing signs. We had Pluto last year, at the end of 2024, basically. We had Neptune and Saturn just recently. Jupiter is going to be changing signs this year. Uranus is going to change in April. Again, whenever all these big planets change signs, it's like we are in a new world. So, Death card just doesn't surprise me right now because, we are all going to be experiencing a major death in our lives. And that's not like a person, it's just like a situation. And, Pluto going from Capricorn to Aquarius is the death of establishment. So we are seeing this in the world. We're going to see a lot more of it. A lot of establishments falling, collapsing, whatever. And it's not really a bad thing because it's going to lead to, hopefully a much better world. So, again, on a personal level, Four of Pentacles, he's holding on to his old establishment. He needs to open up to the potential of the Ten of Pentacles, something much better, right? And so I feel like that's what this card is saying. Scorpio, also make sure to leave a comment. Really helps me out. You have the Queen of Pentacles. I do feel like this is an increase in your resources. I think of the Queen of Pentacles as needing to be resourceful, but it's popping into my head that, you are increasing your resources. So you could absolutely be doing things that make more money or that help you, get a raise or a promotion or something. I don't know. That's how it's popping into my head. And obviously that would be a good thing. I think we need resources right now. We've definitely been through a long period of time of limitation. The time that we were in with Pluto and Capricorn especially, it's like we all, and also Neptune and Pisces, like we probably had the idea, we probably had the good dream that could change our lives, but we also probably did not have the resource, whatever that is, time, effort, money, people, whatever, right? So I think now that things have changed, we can finally gather those resources that can make our dream or whatever we're working on much more successful. With the Hangman, you have the Strength card. I feel like you've been very patient, like we said, on the Temperance card. I feel that you are going to see that it was worth it as well. One of my favorite sayings of all time, many people say it, but it's easy come, easy go, right? So it's like, when things come easily, they can disappear easily. So maybe it's been a pain in the ass having to put the work in so hard for many years, Scorpio, but I think you're going to see how, like, the strength is paying off. You've built real strength, like real staying power, not just, a fly-by-night things in your life. With the Death card, you have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is only seeing one way of doing things when there are many. So again, needing to open up to all solutions. If you ever get stuck from now until 2033, all you have to remember is that there's probably another way. And all you have to do is go get more inputs, right? So research is the easy solution with Gemini, and one of the easy solutions. So just going and learning from experts. Guess what? You have the King of Swords. King of Swords is a mentor. Doesn't have to be a man. Could be anybody that you are learning from. And King of Swords is my card of a person who can solve a problem very quickly. So anytime you get stuck, all you have to do is hop onto YouTube and research your problem, and you might find a solution. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Six of Swords. Six of Swords moving on to calmer shores. A lot of Six of Swords energy this week already, so, it's after the retrograde. Kind of makes sense that, people could finally be, finding solutions to problems or overcoming obstacles. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Y card and this round and round card. So yes, number one, do not get stuck in the past, right? This could be you asking why something had to happen over and over and over again. It's coming up in the good stuff, so you're probably releasing it. But again, it's a general reading. So if you are stuck wondering why something happened, I would just move past it. You have the King of Swords, the King of Cups, and the Knight of Swords. Again, King of Swords can be a mentor or a person you look up to that can solve your problems very quickly. So I feel that, again, any problems you're having, or not even problems, again, I always tell people, it's like, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Things can be going well, and you can research things that are working and make them better as well. So, again, it comes down to you. The Hangman was saying to me that you're creating your blessings. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of work. But I think doing the research is clearly going to be worth it with the King of Swords. You have the King of Cups. Could be love. I was feeling that at the beginning of the reading. So, if you're looking for a person, sure, could be a new person coming in. The King of Cups wants you to watch your emotions. He's coming up in the good stuff. So, it could say that you have explored your emotions and now you are using your emotions more constructively, which is good. He also has this boat behind him. And the boat on the King of Cups represents something very specific. It represents traveling somewhere you've never been before. It represents exploring the unknown, right? And that is where treasure exists, is in the unknown for the King of Cups. He goes to distant lands. And so for you, as not a tarot person, like as in you are not in the tarot, I think this is saying you need to explore things that you do not know, because that is where the treasure will exist for you, Scorpio, and you're definitely going to want to find those answers for sure. You have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, I think on the 18th, because of the new moon that we're having in Pisces, which is basically will be tomorrow if you're watching this on the 17th, or today if you're watching this on the 18th, I think things are going to start feeling like they're moving forward. Again, the new moon happens 2 days before Mercury goes direct. And so you'll probably feel good on the 18th. You'll probably feel even better on the 20th if you're watching this before the week of the 23rd. And like you're probably going to be feeling like you can build momentum, or like you can actually make progress, which is great. With the King of Swords, you have the Two of Pentacles. Yes, Two of Pentacles, like work hard, play hard. And, it can also represent trying to make a decision. He's spinning plates. He is doing too much. But sometimes when we learn from an expert, they can provide us with an idea or something to do, and we can make better moves. But again, it is coming up in the good stuff. So, you probably are balancing work hard and play hard and doing both, which is good. With the King of Cups, you have the Four Swords again. So again, this should be something that makes you feel calm. Like if this is love, it is popping into my head for sure. That this is a person where you don't feel anxiety, where you don't feel stressed out, where you're not wondering what they're doing and, all that other stuff. So I feel like this could be something that's much more calm. Now, sometimes I think that can be a problem because, sometimes if we don't have the drama, I think that we think like, oh, this person doesn't like me or whatever. But like, no, this is healthy. This is something that is good. It's not something that's full of drama, right? So there you go. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Four of Cups. Yeah, I would rush towards any opportunities. Take the opportunity. Four of Cups, he's failed 3 times before, and so he's afraid to take that opportunity because he has failed. But really, he learned from these 3 times, and he just needs to apply what he learned to that 1 cup, and he will be successful. You have this Dragon card. It says, beware of self-delusion. Yeah, we had Neptune and Pisces for a long time. Neptune taught us in Pisces that if you're just dreaming of something, you are being delusional. If you take a step towards that dream, you're not being delusional, right? So you are a water sign. You have learned from this energy. It's only delusional if it only exists in your head. You have this carrot. It says opportunity or windfall. There you go. It could be an opportunity for a windfall with the Ace of Pentacles. So the carrot, we only see the green stuff sticking up out of the ground, right? The good part is underground. So like I've been saying this whole time, you have to research something. You have to dig into something. And it could be an opportunity where on the surface, maybe it just looks okay. But when you dig into it, it could be much, much bigger than you're thinking. You have this rainbow. It says the most difficult part of a situation is over. We basically said that in this reading. So I definitely feel you are moving past the difficulties and the challenges. Things are probably going to be improving here. You have this apple that says temptation will test you. I've noticed the last 2 weeks or so a lot of devil energy coming up in these readings. I think the temptation we could all be experiencing is Four of Pentacles. Like, hey, just, stay over here. It's easy over here. You know what you're going to get over here. You know what you're going to get with that ex that wants to come back. You know what you're going to get if you just stay at your job and don't try to, start that next thing, right? And so I think that's the temptation we need to avoid. You have this needle and thread. It says a sincere wish granted. Love it. Definitely could be some sort of wish coming true. This looks really good, Scorpio. I like it. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your week.